YouTube, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be just doing one of those very simple get dinner on the table and get everybody fed in about a half an hour kind of recipes. This is not a fancy recipe, this is a survival recipe. I feel like we've all had those days or those periods in our lives where trying to get something on the table is not always the easiest thing to do. I remember I lived at home right after I graduated high school, and I took a year between going from high school to college. There's a whole explanation for that. However, I was living at home, and my parents, were trying to form a very responsible young lady. And I was in charge of getting dinner on the table, I think once or twice a week. Everybody was working, the adults, my mom, my dad, myself, we had full-time jobs. I had two younger sisters at home, and being an active participant in the family, I was responsible for getting dinner on the table. There was a show, I think it was on the Cooking Network. I cannot for the life of me remember this lady's name, but she had a show. It was like semi-homemade. I can't remember her name, but it was with so-and-so, semi-homemade with so-and-so. And this is kind of the period of my life where I started to realize I actually like to cook. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for that, for making me be responsible. Getting off of work at 4:30 and trying to get dinner at the table so that way everybody could eat in a reasonable time frame was not always easy, and I learned that at a very young age. And trying to get something on the table that everyone enjoyed and didn't have a whole lot of work involved. Anyways, this is kind of one of those recipes, semi-homemade. This is not a 5-star complicated recipe. This is let's get everybody fed so that way we can move on with our lives. Anyways, it's just a Stromboli. I've got a refrigerator pizza crust, and I've also got my rolling pin. I'm just going to kind of roll my crust out kind of as far as I can. Usually I do not do this on the baking sheet, but for YouTube purposes, I need to. So I'm just going to kind of roll it out so it's not quite so thick. And also I can kind of make the dough roll up as a Stromboli does. All right, I'm happy with that. I've got my pizza sauce now, and I'm just gonna kind of roll that, not roll it, pour it right down the middle. Just kind of spread it out here. Try to leave yourself some headroom here with your dough, because we're going to want to roll it up. I like to go a little gentle on the sauce because I can always put the sauce kind of in a cup and let everybody dip their Stromboli in that. I've got some thin sliced salami here. One of the great things about this recipe is that you can completely and totally cater it right to your family's likes, dislikes, needs. I know my sister is a vegetarian, her and her daughter. And this is one of those easy recipes to definitely make vegetarian if that's what you desire. I was kind of thinking as I was setting up the camera and getting ready to film this video, I thought, a white sauce Stromboli, maybe with some roasted chicken or leftover grilled chicken, maybe some broccoli, spinach. I think that would be really, really good. All right, I've also got some pepperonis here. Roasted vegetables. I'm trying to think of what else would go really good in a Stromboli. You can get creative. That's kind of one of the benefits of making your own food. You're kind of master of your own kitchens, and you can make whatever you so desire. Cater a recipe to however you and your family likes it. Oops. I know my husband's been working such crazy hours this week that a quick recipe for dinner is actually kind of nice. He's supposed to get out of work at 5 o'clock every day, but it is 5:12 now, and I've not gotten a phone call saying, hey, I'm on my way home. You need anything? All right, I've also got just a can of sliced mushrooms. I like to use canned mushrooms in this recipe just because I don't know, I like the flavor of canned mushrooms versus fresh mushrooms in this instance. Not always, but in this instance, yes. All right, looks good to me. And I've also got some shredded mozzarella cheese. I did shred this myself. However, you can use whatever kind of cheese you'd like. And you can also use sliced cheese rather than shredded. Perfectly acceptable in this instance. It's all gonna be kind of rolled up. Say the one key thing here, you don't want to overstuff your stromboli. I know a lot of it, you know, it cooks in there. We're gonna put some cuts in the seams of the stromboli to let the steam escape. However, you don't want it to explode. I mean, if it does, not a big deal. It's still gonna be edible and taste delicious, but that's kind of not the goal here. All right, I've got one more step and I will be right back. All right, the next step to this, I actually forgot to make a little egg wash here. That's why I had to cut the camera off. But I've just kind of scrambled one egg and put a little bit of water in there, just made an egg wash. And I'm just gonna brush the edges of my stromboli here with the egg wash, just so it kind of seals properly, or try to, that's the goal, right? All right, now that it's properly sealed, I'm just gonna kind of turn it. Hopefully that's in the shot. Cooking on YouTube's. All right, I'm just going to gently pick up my edges here and start kind of rolling, but you kind of just want one big roll, not several little like a cinnamon roll. All right, my seam side is down, and see the ends here, we're just gonna kind of tuck them over. I always like to say, you know, put the baby to bed, tuck them in. See if I can, all right, get the edge here, just kind of tuck it over, kind of pinch those edges together. Oh, I got a little hole there, that's all right. Not a big deal. I'm gonna make some holes in the top of the stromboli so the steam will escape and I won't have a great big explosion mess, which that can still happen. It's not a big deal if it does. I've got my extra egg wash here, and I'm just gonna kind of brush the top here. This is simply just to make it look beautiful, but also I'm gonna sprinkle some seasonings on top and some Parmesan cheese, and it'll help it to kind of stick to the top of that dough. All right, looks good, don't want to overdo it. I've just got some plain Italian seasonings here. Gonna sprinkle on the top. This is just kind of for color, a little bit of flavor for that dough. And then I've also got some powdered, or that grated Parmesan cheese stuff that comes in a can. If I had fresh, I would certainly be using the fresh, but I don't, and I'm a firm believer in kind of working with what you got, and I'm working on a budget right now. Got some things we'd like to save up for, and I'm not gonna make a trip to the store just for some cheese. All right, this is the part where I'm just gonna try to make 3 to 4 very quick little slices. I've got a bread knife here. All right, got 4 little slices. All right, I'm gonna get this guy in the oven, preheated to 425, and I'm gonna leave it in there for about 18, maybe 20 minutes. I'll kind of check it at the 18-minute mark and see what it looks like. If you notice that your crust is browning too soon, you can always put some tin foil over the top of it, and that way it'll kind of help so the crust doesn't burn. But 18 to 20 minutes in a preheated 425 oven, and I'll see you when it's done. All right, guys, my stromboli was in the oven for exactly 18 minutes. It's bubbling hot right now. I'm gonna let this kind of stand for about 5 minutes, just to kind of let it set a little bit. The crust is, I don't know if you can hear that, it's cooked perfectly through. It smells delicious, just like an Italian restaurant right here in my own kitchen. But that is it. That is my quick and easy dinner in under 30 minutes stromboli. Kind of get something on the table. I don't know if I explained it before, but I finished my thought process more so, but when I was talking about that semi-homemade show, I kind of at that point in my life realized that, you know, you can kind of cut corners a little bit using, like I did in this instance, store-bought pizza crust. I think it was $1 something. So honestly, I don't know how much money I was actually saving by using that store-bought crust, or not saving, but just spending more of by using that store-bought crust. But it saved me quite a bit of time in the kitchen, and that's kind of more so what I was looking for, to get this meal on the table quickly, get everybody fed in a timely fashion. But that's it. That's my Stromboli in a hurry recipe. It's quite a bit cheaper than going out to dinner. This is gonna feed, I'd say, my husband and myself dinner tonight, a couple of lunches, probably a family of 4 easy. It doesn't look like much, but it's packed in there with all sorts of goodies. But if you like today's video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you like what I do here, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.